Welcome, everyone, and Happy New Year. We are officially in 2023. Before we get into the forecast for January, I just want to mention, of course, that this is a general forecast. If you would like a personal reading, or if you would like your own personal year ahead forecast, book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this. Here we go. So a new year, a new energy to work with. We leave the energy of the 6 behind in 2022, and we jump into the very practical and very ethereal landscape of the 7 energy for the universal cycle of 2023. So if you haven't already, again, be sure to listen to your previously posted 2023 year ahead forecast for your specific life path number. Those are up on my YouTube channel and my podcast for your listening pleasure. Okay, so in this episode, we're going to first look at the collective energy for January 2023, which will sort of explore the cycle that we'll all be working with for this month. And then we'll take a look at the month ahead, including the energies for the new and the full moons of January for each life path number. Okay, so January 2023 is an 8 universal cycle. And so what this means is collectively we will be feeling much more focused, much more determined, and more motivated this month. So we're ready to make big strides on some of our greatest visions, and we can feel the excitement growing around creative projects and collaborations that sort of fuel our passions. This energy is saying, let's go. Under this energy, it's important to not see limitations as indicators that something is not achievable or that it isn't for you. We're meant to acknowledge those limitations and then call in the people and the resources that are the experts within those areas to assist, while we focus our own energy on the areas where we are the experts and where we can let our light shine the brightest. 8 energy understands the importance of collaboration and teamwork. It doesn't try to do it all alone, and it certainly understands that it isn't the expert at everything. The goal is to focus on and emphasize our own strengths while also allowing others to contribute in the same way. When we try to be the best at everything and fail to see our own limitations as an opportunity to allow someone else's strengths to shine through, then we restrict ourselves and, in turn, restrict others. So this is a great month to ask for assistance and to accept that assistance without trying to control it, right? So the month of January may start off a little slow, but by mid-month, the energy will be pushing us to get started on whatever it is that we set our sights on. Money and financial affairs could also come up this month, and you could see sort of an influx of resources, perhaps an uptick in clients or sales. Or if you've applied for, a new job or a promotion, you could see that come through at this time. New contracts could be initiated at this time as well. So if you're a freelancer or again, like work with clients, you may see an uptick there. Or for some, unexpected costs could surface at this time to have you to take a closer look at your spending and or your money management. This is a great energy when it comes to career or how you sort of make your money or your resources in the world. So if you're looking for work or if you're looking to change jobs, this is a very supportive energy to help you not only get your foot in the door, but bust through that door and get seen. So again, this is great energy for getting your name out there, putting yourself out there, getting seen, being recognized, getting those promotions, getting more clients, getting more sales, all of those things. This is very ambitious energy that we're working with, right? Or we have the opportunity to work with. Don't be afraid of taking risks this month, especially mid-month and onwards. Don't be afraid to promote yourself. And again, get your name out there, get yourself out there. Don't be afraid to be seen in whatever ways feel aligned for you. Not necessarily what feels comfortable for you, because sometimes we do have to step outside that comfort zone, right? But in ways that feel aligned. So it feels good, even though it might be a little scary, or it might be, again, different from how you're used to doing it. That is the power of the 8. It's going to sort of push us beyond our again, beyond those comfort zones. And that can include, again, like asking for assistance, asking for where you need help, where it is that you have those limitations. There is power in that, and the 8 energy is going to assist us in doing that. The energy of the 8 reminds us that if we don't speak up and ask for what we want, then the answer is always going to be no. So be confident and bold and go for it. This vibration will also ask us to sort of proceed with honesty and integrity. Shady business isn't supported under this vibration, and using others to get ahead now might work initially, but the fall will be greater than the rise. So anything done without integrity, especially under the vibration of the 8, is not sustainable and will eventually crumble. So it's best to build from a foundation of honesty and integrity to begin with. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the month of January for your specific life path number now. Life path number 9. So I pulled an animal spirit message for you all for January, and you got Tyrannosaurus Rex. So with T-Rex energy coming through, this is raw power. This is straight from the base chakra. And so what's interesting about this, there's definitely something this month, I think, for 9s. Of course, it's a general reading, so, take it if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. But I do think that there will be some opportunities this month for you all to be very assertive, for you to be aggressive, but not like aggressive in the way that you're, harming yourself or others, but aggressive in the way of going after what you want, taking the reins and the leadership role within your own life, moving out of sort of victim mentality if you are sort of trapped in that. And yeah, just really taking responsibility for the direction of your life, where you want to go, what that looks like, what you want to build. Now, of course, you're a 9, so you have this sort of innate signature of humanitarian, helping others, helping to empower others. But none of that can occur until you yourself, is empowered, right? And so T-Rex coming through in January at the beginning of a new cycle, a new universal cycle. There is definitely something here for 9s about setting those boundaries, taking the reins, and going after sort of unabashedly for what you want, right? Again, without harming yourself or others, and not in a selfish way necessarily, right? Like there's nothing wrong with being selfish. Like we need to have that component in order, again, to like put our best interest first when we need to. So there's nothing wrong with that. With 9s, it's just if that sort of selfishness, ego-centric mentality sort of takes over and you're leading with that, then you start to face a lot of challenges to overcome. But it's one of the polarities we absolutely have to have in our lives. So I love to see T-Rex coming through for 9s because I do think that it sort of gives you this sort of just primal permission to go after what you want and to really like get serious about figuring that out if you haven't been, or if you've been sort of putting other people before yourself consistently and feeling resentful for that. This is like allowing you sort of to take your power back and figure out like, how can I be this humanitarian? How can I help others and feel good about it. Like, how can I do it in a way where I feel good about it, where I feel like it's coming from my heart center and not out of obligation? Because every time it comes from obligation, you're going to feel resentment. You're going to feel overly burdened. And so the 9, you're meant to step into this energy with an open heart and a grateful heart, not feeling resentful. And so I think T-Rex is kind of coming in to be like, all right, let's do this. Let's figure out how to do this so that, again, you're filling up your own cup first, and then you're able to fill up others, right? That whole saying. So I do love that T-Rex is coming through. I do think that it's going to allow you to have the conversations that you need to have, allow you to see more clearly where it is that maybe you've been like, kind of like, woe is me. And, where can I shift my perspective to be like, okay, what is working? What can I build upon? Where can I take responsibility for the direction of my life and make some things happen, right? So very, very powerful, primal energy coming through. What's interesting about this is, so collectively, as I mentioned in the intro, we are working with 8 energy. 9s are also working with strong 8 energy in January. So again, this sort of focus on power and justice and sort of equity, right? All of these things kind of come into play. Status, again, taking responsibility for your own life. Empowerment is really the word. I think there's a lot of that. That's a lot of opportunities for self-empowerment and empowering others that will come in this month for 9s. I think that's very possible. And of course, it's what you do with it, that'll make the difference. But you all are working with some really strong 8 energy, and 8 really, it's a very spiritual energy. So it really works well with your 9 energy, but it's very much focused on the physical plane. So it's very much, again, like money, resources, power, status, again, like justice, equilibrium, like all these things, right? that have to do with like the physical plane, success, business, career, managing like your money, your resources, that sort of thing. So taking responsibility for those areas within your life, all of those things. And so this could really come into focus. And those areas where you need to be focused on, and maybe there needs to be some modification or some T-Rex energy coming into play, that will be highlighted for you. So you'll know where it's at, right? And so if nothing really comes in for you this month, then you're probably pretty solid. You're probably good to go, right? But I really am a firm believer that we're always evolving and always growing and always learning. So there's probably, especially when it has to do with our life path. And so the energies that sort of come in for us are assisting us and helping us to step into that, which is a lifelong journey. So we will all probably, all 9s will probably see this energy in some way, shape, or form, or you'll be holding space for somebody else to be able to step into that. But a lot of strong 8 energy throughout January for you all. So this is, again, like if you've wanted to get serious about your career, if you've wanted to change careers, if you wanted to open your own business, if you wanted to, again, like volunteer more, because 8 energy oversees like philanthropy, helping others, empowering others, sharing your resources. If you're financially abundant, to share that abundance with others. If you are in like lack mentality, figuring out how to overcome that. Like, what do you need to do that, right? So I think that is really going to be a strong focus for you all for January to get you prepared for the next 12 months, right? Like, or I guess the next 11 months from January. But I think this is going to give you a snapshot of sort of what your focus for 2023 is going to be, and sort of what that looks like and what you're working with. And again, sort of a glimpse into the next 12 months. But the fact that it's 8 energy and it's T-Rex, it's like sort of pushing you to take control of what you can take control of. And just stay focused on that, right? And follow through. And with it being 8 energy, that tells me there's something here about, again, like power, status, career, business, any of those things. Now, we do have a full moon that's coming up on January 6th. And this for you all is highlighting the energy of the 5. So there's definitely some kind of major shifts coming in for you, some kind of change, some kind of expansion, more expansive perspective, perhaps. So a change in mindset is also very possible. Now, because the energy this month for you all is so sort of concentrated on the 8 energy, it could very much be like change in finances, change in career direction, change in status, change, anything to kind of do with the 8. I feel like this is going to be sort of coming into focus, but it doesn't have to be that way, right? Like the 5 energy is going to focus on where it needs to focus on to make those shifts. So when we have 5 energy, I always say, expect the unexpected. Expect some kind of shift, change, or transformation in an area that maybe you were expecting or you weren't expecting. More than likely, it might be a little bit uncomfortable at first, but wherever it's shifting you to, it will be in your highest alignment, right? Like will be in your higher octave of where you're meant to be in. So it's ultimately a good thing. But when we have 5 energy, again, the advice would be go with the flow the best that you can. Be open to what this energy is trying to show you, because typically when 5 energy comes in, it's trying to expand your perspective. It's trying to open you up to something, to free you from something, or again, to make you aware of something that maybe you weren't aware of before, or maybe you had your blinders on, or you were looking at in more of a rigid way, where the 5 energy is like, let's just bust this wide open and look at this from all vantage points, right? So it's a very freeing energy. It's a very expansive energy, but it can feel like you're on a roller coaster. So it's a short cycle. It's just for this full moon, but that doesn't sort of change the intensity of it. And so I would say just be adaptable as possible and go with the flow. Now it is a full moon, so there may be something coming to culmination, some kind of transformation that is coming to completion. Like you're coming out the other side of it, right? So it's kind of like, I would equate it to, obviously it's not as long as like a Pluto transit, but I would equate it to like Pluto entering and now getting ready to leave Capricorn, right? So we had this like since what, like 2008, and now in 2023, I think it's starting to, starting to enter Aquarius and then popping back into Capricorn until I think 2024, something like that. So you can kind of equate like 5 energy and a full moon to like something like that, right? Where it's like you can kind of look back now over the last so many years to see how that transformation has affected you and what that looks like. And now that it's coming to culmination, what are the takeaway points, right? So this 5 energy occurring for you all at a full moon is potentially asking you to look over the transformation maybe of the last year, right? Or even this full moon is occurring in the sign of Cancer. So maybe look back at when the new moon of Cancer occurred. And honestly, I don't remember. I think it was like in June, but I can't remember. Look back over the last, say, 6 months, right? And see what has sort of transpired for you, what's now coming to culmination or completion, that's been a change or a transformation. And this 5 energy is kind of helping you to kind of look at that and see how far you've come and see how, like the good that's come from that, right? Okay, and then on January 21st, we have a full moon. And for you all, this is beautiful. This is bringing in the energy or highlighting the energy of the 11-2. And so anytime we have like the new moon coupled with 11-2 energy, this is really asking you to get serious about the things that inspire you. So the question to ask yourself as you're starting new things, because again, this is a new moon. So initiations, setting intentions, getting started on something, big new starts, big new opportunities. For you all, with it being highlighting this 11-2 energy, this can be a great opportunity to collaborate, to work with others, you might get an opportunity to collaborate or work with others, to share ideas. Also, coming together in some kind of like relationship. And again, this is like relating to others. It doesn't necessarily have to be like romantic or anything like that, but it's like communicating with others, working with others in like something that you have a shared value in. So there's common ground here. There's something where you're excited to work with this person or interact with this person or collab with this person. So that's very, very possible as well. But the big question to sort of ask yourself as you're setting these intentions, as you're starting this new path, whatever this is, this new initiation, is to ask yourself, does it inspire me? Because if you feel burdened by whatever this is, it's not sustainable. It is not going to be sustainable. And so you need to find a way to make it sustainable if it's something you absolutely have to do. And so find a way to get inspired by it, right? Whether you have to add things or, make modifications or whatever, or set boundaries or whatever. You need to do that, because anything that, especially for a 9, anything that causes resentment or feelings of like being overly burdened is not sustainable. You're going to be depleted by that energy. And so then you can't do the work of the 9, right? Like you can't step into your life path because you're depleted. So this 11-2 energy at this new moon in January, at the beginning of this new universal cycle, is really asking you to put your focus and keep your focus on the things that inspire you, that light you up, that that ignite your passion, because through doing that, like that's when you're tapped into your natural gifts, right? When you're feeling inspired, when you're feeling passionate about something, that's when you're tapped into your life force energy. When you're tapped into your life force energy, you can then share those gifts, that inspiration, that energy, that momentum with others, right? And so you're not trying to influence them, but you're sharing that fire, right? That fire energy. And so the 11-2 is assisting you in doing that. Typically, when it has to do with something that, we're passionate about or that ignites us or whatever, it's not always the easy road. There's usually challenges associated with that to, again, assist us, even though it might not feel like it when we're in it. So whenever I see 11-2 energy, I know that there's going to be like sort of unforeseen challenges, but just remember that those challenges, if it's associated with your passion, with your sort of innate gifts, it's going to be worth it. And yeah, it'll be challenging potentially, but it's teaching you something to assist you to level up with whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? So helpful energy, beautiful energy. And again, around this new moon, as you're setting your intentions, as you're doing, initiating something, the question to ask yourself is, does this inspire me? And you could even go as far as to say, how does this inspire me? What do I sort of see this? How do I see this progressing over the long term? And again, kind of get serious about that planning, that trajectory, right? Because again, remember, you're working with strong 8 energy in January. So again, it's a very ambitious, a very dedicated, a very like going for the goal type of energy. It's very committed. So you are set up this month to initiate and start something that has the potential to be long-term and very successful, depending again on like what effort you put into it and how you show up. But so very, very powerful energy, of course, right? Because of T-Rex coming through as well. Not surprising. But anytime like you feel overly like meek or mild when it comes to pursuing your dreams or your goals, remember T-Rex. Like try to step into that energy. Try to embody that energy of not demolishing things or again, like stepping on people to get where you need to be, obviously. But it's just that more assertiveness, that more like confidence, that power, that taking responsibility and like really standing in your power and without apology. That is really like T-Rex energy. So very beautiful energy for you all 9s. I hope it is a beautiful start to 2023 for you all and a beautiful January. And thank you so much for being here. And I will see you all again soon. Take care. Bye for now.